Okay, so today we're going to do the hanger steak. One of the most tender cuts in the entire beef, but it needs a little bit of work to get there. And I've been asked before from customers where they say when they buy a hanger steak, why does it come to them in two pieces? And so I'm just going to show you what we do and the reason we do it and why it ends up in two pieces. You can see there's a nerve running right through the center of that. That's what we go in to take out. So the first approach, you can start from either side, it doesn't matter. Whatever little bit of skin on the outside that you can get off, because I want to have this center line as open as possible. This can always be gotten later, but see here where it's together, you want to make sure that's apart so that you have a clean shot. Now you look at the piece of meat, you can see the shape. There's a thicker end and a thinner end. Now it's not always that obvious, but it's there if you look. So this is thicker. You start at the narrower end. And all you're going to do is just notch the center of those two, because and you can see I really didn't cut. It was just really just like a scratch, and then pulling apart slowly at first to let it start. What you want to do is you want to split the nerve, let it tear itself one side from the other. That will protect the meat as you're doing this. Now the next step you do is you're going to take this off with a knife. You want to make it as level as possible. Here's going to be a knife technique that you'll use a lot of times in whatever you're doing, but I'm not going to cut. If you watch the knife, it's not going to come down like this. It's going to come down like that. So what's happening is the knife is going to be traveling along this. So what I'm doing is I'm letting the sharpness of the knife take the nerve out rather than the strength of me and the knife together. So the first thing you do is you just, with the tip, cut underneath that. All you want is a finger hold. Now, you're going to use that nerve as like a railroad track, so you want to keep it taut. So you're going to be pulling against it and cutting while you're pulling apart. I'm going to start at this part of the knife and end up at that part of the knife. And what happens is you'll lose very, very little meat with that kind of technique. Had I tried to push it like that, the amount of meat that would be left on that nerve is huge. So from this stage on, it's really just cleaning. There's sometimes little bits of the nerve that tear off. You're just going to get those out. And there are no rules. You're just looking. It's all visual. I don't worry about fat. I happen to like the fat, but you want to take anything that would be tend to make it tougher, a little bit of this sheathing off, so that's got to come off. The technique on this one is also interesting. It's the same principle as what I was doing with that sliding thing, but I'm letting the knife do the work, but I'm also at the same time scraping, so it's a cut and a push at the same time. Same idea in here. This one normally is not on the piece. This was left. It's important to remember you'll never see two of these exactly the same, but the principle is exactly the same. So if you're ever doing this and it doesn't look like the way you did the last one, don't worry. It's exactly the same. So that's one, and then this piece is just the exact same thing. You slide underneath it to get a handhold, and then it's a simple cut down like that. And there's that scraping motion. And as I said, it's just visual. You're really just looking to see what needs to come off. I personally, this is just fat. I would leave that on for me. Generally speaking, when I ship them, I take that off only because I don't want people to think I purposely left the fat on, but that to me is flavor. So all I'm doing is taking anything that looks to me like it's going to cause headaches. And that's the finished product in two pieces.